that. I did nonviolent communication and it worked.
Yeah. I'm in a chair. Okay. All right, guys.
All right, so,
I'll go ahead and read it if you want.
oh, absolutely, that's wonderful. Yeah, if you feel like it, that'd be great.
Yeah, now that we got it up there.
Okay.
It's difficult because we've got my little laptop and he's used to having 2 and 3 computers that he works off of at once. So when he has to deal with little pieces of equipment, it's a little more challenging for him. All right. From need to peace. Nonviolent communication, need, and the subtle belief in lack. Nonviolent communication is often described as a language of peace, empathy, and mutual respect. At its best, it allows people to express what matters to them without blame, coercion, or emotional violence. Yet beneath its practical tools lies a deeper philosophical question that is rarely addressed directly. What does it really mean to say, I need? For those familiar with A Course in Miracles, that question opens a doorway. The Course consistently points to a radical idea. All perception of need is rooted in the belief in lack. From that view, communication is not merely about exchanging information or negotiating outcomes. It becomes a mirror reflecting what we believe we are missing and what we believe others must supply. This essay explores nonviolent communication through that lens. We will examine the difference between expressing needs and making requests. Why combining need and you in the same sentence creates conflict. How to distinguish true needs from personal expectations, and why every perceived need ultimately points back to a belief in lack. Along the way, we will use practical examples to keep the discussion grounded and usable. The promise and limits of nonviolent communication. Nonviolent communication, as articulated by Marshall Rosenberg, rests on a simple structure. Observe without judgment. Identify feelings. Express needs. Make clear, actionable requests. When practiced sincerely, this framework reduces defensiveness and invites cooperation. Its strength lies in removing blame. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," a speaker might say, "When I speak and don't receive a response, I feel frustrated because I need to feel heard." This shift alone can diffuse many conflicts. Yet even this gentler language can conceal an unexamined assumption. The assumption is that peace depends on someone else meeting a need. From an ACIM perspective, this is the very belief system that keeps conflict alive, no matter how politely it is expressed. Nonviolent communication works well within the world of form. It improves relationships, workplaces, families, and communities. The Course does not oppose this. It simply invites us to look deeper. It asks whether our sense of need is a fact or a belief. Do we want to stop for a minute? Did anyone have any comments they wanted to make so far? Okay, then we'll move on. Expressing a need versus making a request. One of the most important distinctions in nonviolent communication is between expressing a need and making a request. These are often confused. even by experienced practitioners. Expressing a need is an act of self-disclosure. It is informational, not transactional. It says something about the inner state of the speaker without assigning responsibility for fixing it. For example, I'm feeling overwhelmed and I need clarity. I'm feeling alone and I need connection. I'm feeling tired and I need rest. These statements do not point outward. They do not imply that someone else has failed or must act. They simply name an internal experience. A request, on the other hand, invites action. It is directed outward, but does not demand compliance. It allows space for a yes or a no. For example, would you be willing to go over this plan with me? Would you like to spend some time together this evening? Could we pause this conversation and continue later? The problem arises when needs are disguised as requests, or when requests are framed as moral obligations. When that happens, the language may sound nonviolent, but the underlying energy remains coercive. From the Course's perspective, the moment peace depends on an external response, the ego has entered the room. Lyn, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So this is great. We're talking about the difference between needs and solutions, what I experience as the solution to the need that I perceive that I have. Um, and the thing that is so useful and important about nonviolent communication is we don't just go by, I need peace. We go by a shared need. We both need the same thing. So that's the reason that we go and talk about needs, is because we have to come to a consensus about what the need is. I may think I need companionship, but that may not be really what I need. Um, or what is causing us to have a conflict is that I need companionship and you're not giving it to me. Uh, Although that may seem convenient to think that you're the key to my happiness, but but the the issue is always that we both have to have the same need. When you recognize that your need is the same as mine, then we can come together in a consensus to try to find a way uh, to fill our joined need, the need that we both have. So we don't stop by just saying, I need this. We have to come to the place where we both recognize that the need that was being expressed is the same need. It's a shared need. And so that's something, when we start talking about needs in particular, uh, you know, you- it's really important to like I said, to recognize that until we both have a consensus on what the need is, then the conversation really can't go any further. I can't make a request, and you won't buy into the request unless you see that your need and my need are the same. And that's why, A Course in Miracles says, a teacher of God is one who recognizes that, you know, what I need is the same thing that you need. We both need the same thing. Um, anyway, and that may take a little bit of wrangling to get with people and to get to what the need is that we both share. Because uh it's there. It's got to be there, or you're not gonna, for us to meet your need. and not mine involves sacrifice. Basically, I have to give up my needs for yours. So that will never ever work. There are always going to be problems if we go at it that way. So so coming to the point, which we really haven't gotten deep
Okay.
into, um, uh, uh, they're going to lower my hand for me. How nice. Uh, anyway, um, anyway, that's the important part of it, is not to just look at my needs, but we have to acknowledge a shared need before we can ever come up with a solution or make a request about what, what you would, what is,
I
uh,
see.
what the solution is. And I see Glorian has her hand up too.
Glorian?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lynn, for sharing that. It is really important because, although, like you said last week, we are learning better communication and we're taking a look at what we're doing, the responsibility does really come down to ourselves. And sometimes we really don't have to say anything at all because we can make that correction in our own mind. But the idea is to be better and better at communicating love, at communicating love. So where we were saying that, the idea of need, it goes back to the idea of scarcity, which Jesus talks about in the Course, and lack. So, we want to recognize that like you said, no one's really different. I forget what you said, that, that they have the same needs. But what was coming to me is to recognize that our interests are the same. Because, like, I notice, when something comes up, if you recognize that everyone wants to feel loved, safe, free, whole, well, and complete, then there's no separate needs, really. That's what we want. Those are the combined interests. And then, of course, it always is about us taking responsibility for what we see. And in doing that, we can ask Spirit, how can I communicate this more lovingly? And I think that that's what NVC is showing us. Just by changing and tweaking a few little words here and there, it's a totally different feeling. And of course, then it always comes down to our judgments and, really letting all things be as they are, making no demands. The judgments are unresolved projections of fear and guilt that we're making. So if we take responsibility for that, recognizing that what I think I need, my brother feels that they need, and what we all need is God, and I'm here to, you know, follow my function, which is forgiveness, which is to not judge and to be the extension of love in the world. So this is how we tie this all in together. And I love this now, Bob and Sherry, and I loved it this afternoon. So thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you.
Does she want you to continue reading?
Well, I'll read some more. Okay. Why need and you should not share the same sentence? One of the most practical guidelines in nonviolent communication is this: do not combine need and you in the same statement. The reason is simple. The moment you say, I need you to, responsibility has shifted. What was an internal experience has become an external demand. Even when spoken softly, this structure assigns causation and obligation. Consider these examples. I need you to listen to me. I need you to be more supportive. I need you to change. These statements almost always provoke resistance. They imply that the other person is responsible for the speaker's emotional state. They also suggest that something is wrong with the other person as they are. Now compare them with alternatives that separate need from request. I felt unheard and I value being understood. Would you be willing to listen for a few minutes? Or, I'm feeling discouraged and I value support. Could you let me know if you're open to talking right now? The emotional impact is entirely different. From an ACIM standpoint, combining need and you reinforces the belief that salvation lies outside oneself. It quietly asserts that peace is conditional. The Course calls this the ego's primary strategy. It looks outward for completion. Clarifying need versus personal expectation. Another common source of conflict is the confusion between needs and expectations. Needs are often framed as universal and legitimate. Expectations are often hidden, unspoken, and moralized. A need is an experience of desire or preference within the human condition. An expectation is a story about how others should behave in order for us to be okay. For example, I need respect often masks an expectation. I need you to show up on time is almost always an expectation. I need honesty from you frequently contains an entire code of conduct that has never been agreed upon. When expectations are labeled as needs, disappointment becomes inevitable. The other person did not just fail to meet a preference, they violated something framed as essential. A clearer approach separates the two. Here is a need stated cleanly. I feel anxious when plans change, and I value reliability. Here is the expectation exposed honestly. I expect you to be on time because it helps me feel secure. And here is a request that follows. Would you be willing to let me know earlier if you think you'll be late? This clarity removes moral pressure. It also restores choice. The Course would say that expectations are simply future grievances waiting to happen. They are attempts to control form in order to manage fear. Seeing them clearly is already a step toward undoing them. Examples of common traps and their alternatives. Let us look at several everyday statements and reframe them using both nonviolent communication principles and ACIM awareness.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
before we Go into these.
Sure.
So this is why, and as we're learning more about this, we're going to learn how to actually practice these things, is that we feel for things for people when we're having a conversation with somebody. And Marshall does a beautiful job of explaining it. Basically, if someone is upset, you could say, are you are you feeling sad because you have a need for things to be consistent, and this inconsistency is what's upsetting you? And that may not be what you're feeling and thinking at all. And that's, when we ask the question, we're trying to get to what the real need is. So the person might say, no, that's not why I'm feeling sad. Or yes, it is why I'm feeling sad. Or if it isn't, then they may explain it a little more. I'm feeling sad because I was, I had another appointment uh, in an hour from the time that I was supposed to have an appointment with you. And because of that, you being late for our appointment, it made me late for another appointment that now I am disappointing someone else in their expectation of me being there on time. So you're not feeling sad because you're upset because the person was late. you're upset because you are going to be late, and that you're not, you don't want to disappoint another person. So, and that may seem like a real subtle difference, but if that's the real reason, I wouldn't care at all if you came in late, except for now, I'm going to be late for the next person. Uh, that when, so the need isn't really for you to be on time. The need is for me to be on time. And so if we just gave up with it and said, oh, you're feeling sad because you're disappointed because I was late, that in itself is not the reason. And so, and in fact, it makes the person, the person is going to say, uh, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with me wanting to meet someone else's expectation to do something else. Anyway, that's why we have to keep, not just assume that that's why a person's upset. We have to ask the questions and get to the place where we all agree that this is the thing that is the cause of the upset, if that makes any sense. That's why, I mean, you'll hear people in some of these recordings when people are asking, they may go 5 layers deep to get to where, you find out really what the problem is. And when you find out really what the problem is, then you both can agree. And unless you both agree, because, I might be, I don't care if people are late or not. It doesn't bother me if people are late or not. It's not going to hurt me if people are late or not. Then I'm going to be looking at you and saying, why are you so selfish? Why are you being such an a-hole and giving me a hard time because I'm late? That, it brings about a lot more misunderstandings than actually being helpful. So it's really important that we come to the place where we have the shared need that both of us will agree is the thing that needs to be looked at. So then you can come up with a diagnosis or a solution. But until you're agreed on what that need is, we're going to be talking about 2 different things, and neither one of us is going to come out of the conversation with a happy result, because you're just going to walk away and saying, man, what an inflexible person. They can't even, change a little bit for me, and cause grievances and misunderstandings. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Without understanding, it's very difficult to maintain a relationship. Would someone else like to read, or do you want me to continue? With silence, I will
Anybody
continue.
want to read?
Okay, I'll go on.
Thank you.
Original statement. I need you to respect me. Hidden structure. My peace depends on your behavior. Clearer expression. I feel hurt when my views are dismissed. I value mutual respect. Request. Would you be willing to let me finish my thoughts before responding? Original statement. I need you to be more affectionate. Hidden structure. You are responsible for my sense of connection. Clearer expression. I'm feeling disconnected and I value closeness. Request. Would you be open to spending some intentional time together? Original statement. I need you to understand me. Hidden structure. If you do not understand me, I am not okay. Clearer expression. I'm feeling unseen and I value being understood. Request. Could I share what this experience has been like for me? Each revision removes blame, restores choice, and shifts responsibility back to the speaker's awareness. From the course's perspective, this is the movement from projection toward responsibility, which is another way of describing forgiveness. The radical summary: all need is a belief in lack. Here we arrive at the deepest point of integration with the Course in Miracles. The Course does not deny the experience of need at the level of human being. Bodies need food. Minds seek reassurance. Relationships function better with kindness and clarity. What it challenges is the interpretation of need as proof of incompleteness. In the Course's metaphysics, the self is already whole. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. From that vantage point, every perceived need is a misinterpretation. It is the mind saying something is missing, when in truth, nothing has been lost. This does not mean we stop communicating, requesting, or caring. It means we hold all needs lightly. We recognize them as temporary learning devices, not ultimate truths. Nonviolent communication, when aligned with this understanding, becomes less about getting needs met and more about revealing the belief systems beneath them. Communication turns into a classroom. Each irritation becomes a lesson. Each unmet expectation becomes an invitation to look inward rather than outward. When I say, I need you to, I am not wrong. I am simply mistaken about the source of my peace. From the Course's perspective, peace is not negotiated. It is remembered. Communication as a practice of undoing. Seen this way, nonviolent communication is not merely a conflict resolution tool. It is a spiritual discipline. It trains the mind to slow down, observe without attack, and speak without making idols of outcomes. We still express needs, but we do not worship them. We still make requests, but we do not demand salvation through compliance. We still care deeply, but we stop using others as guarantors of our wholeness. In this light, communication becomes an act of humility. It says, this is what I am experiencing, but I am willing to be wrong about what it means. That willingness is central to the Course. It is the crack through which peace enters. Closing reflection. Nonviolent communication offers a compassionate structure for human interaction. A Course in Miracles offers a radical reinterpretation of why conflict exists at all. Together, they form a powerful pairing. One teaches us how to speak without harm. The other teaches us why we believe harm is possible in the first place. When needs are expressed without blame, requests are made without demand, and expectations are owned rather than projected. Communication becomes gentle. When needs themselves are seen as symbols of a deeper belief in lack, communication becomes liberating. At that point, we are no longer trying to fix each other. We are learning together, and learning, as the Course reminds us, is the gentle undoing of everything we thought we needed.
Wow. Thank you so much, Cherie. Thank you so much, Bob. Um, I love that essay. Does anybody have any thoughts that they'd like to share? Questions? Um, how does this work and whatever? Uh, Brooklyn, yeah, please go ahead.
Namaste, mighty companions. Thank you so much. Cherie, I love listening to you. You have such a great reading voice. Thank you, Bob and Buddy. It does never fails to amaze me how powerful words can be. Sometimes words they change everything, you know? Sometimes words can be confusing,
Mm.
but you could express something. Well, like with me, I sometimes I have problems expressing myself. Yeah, I write better than I speak, but um, I just want to say thank you. It was really beautiful, really beautiful. Thank you.
Rico?
Thank you, Sherry, for meeting. Good evening, family and friends. Thank you for allowing me to be in your presence. I send you love and light from my heart to yours this evening. I want to talk to Sherry and Bob, but before I do, I got to tend to my little sister from another mister, Miss Brooklyn. Miss Brooklyn, you do not have a problem expressing yourself. Just express yourself. You do just fine. Only you and your ego friend believe that you have a problem expressing yourself. You do not. That's one member's perception. You do not. Be that as it may. Sherry, thank you for reading. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Bob, I love the way you express yourself through your writing when you're talking about two different systems and you make them overlap, you make them open to together they could work. You never point one against the other. One is never better or lesser than the other or more. That you make it palatable would be a good word. Palatable. You make it palatable. You don't look for which one do I like best, which one do I like least. You make them both palatable as the way you express yourself. So it's so easy to digest it so nicely. Delicious, I would say. And I just love your mode of expression. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. That's what I try to do. I even had fun reconciling the Rancho book with A Course in Miracles.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rico. And yeah, I mean, it all comes together, right, in the same place. So um, this is exactly, I think, where we want to look at continuing our book from last week. And I'm going to go ahead and put that up as we were talking about the shared needs. And we just had read where Marshall is asking or saying the the four things about needs that uh, that can happen when we're having a conversation and we're not experiencing that shared need. We're not coming to I don't even know, basically agreement on what the need is. Uh, so we had just read that to sense our own feelings and needs, when we receive negative messages, uh, we might say, when I hear you say that I'm the most self-centered person you've ever met, I feel hurt because I need some recognition of my efforts to be considerate of your preferences. And of course, if you're feeling hurt because you need somebody else to do something, as Robert just pointed out very clearly in that essay, When I say I need you to do something, we have not hit the nail on the head. We haven't come to the place where the need is shared. Otherwise, we would never be looking at another person to do something that's going to meet my needs. No one else can meet my needs. Only I can meet my own needs. So then when we sense others' feelings and needs, the fourth option is to shine the light of consciousness on the other person's feelings and needs as they are currently expressed. We might, for example, ask, are you feeling hurt because you need more consideration for your preferences? And see, that's where we have to go back in the conversation and ask the person questions to come to the point where we have a consensus of what exactly it is that the need is. So Marshall continues, this is where we left off last week, I believe. We accept responsibility for our feelings rather than blame other people by acknowledging our own needs, desires, expectations, values, or thoughts. Note the difference between the following expressions of disappointment. And so we have some examples. Example 1, you disappointed me by not coming over last evening. A, or B, I was disappointed when you didn't come over because I wanted to talk over some things that were bothering me. So speaker A attributes responsibility for his disappointment solely on to another person's action. Speaker B traces his feeling of disappointment to his own unfulfilled desire. And that's where we got to go, is what's happening to me, not because you didn't show up, but because I needed something that was not being fulfilled. And so it's taking that personal responsibility for that need. And then example 2, A, they're canceling the contract really irritated me. And then B, when they canceled the contract, I felt really irritated because I was thinking to myself that that was an awfully irresponsible thing to do. Again, uh, we're laying the blame on the other, we're putting the guilt on the other, and we're making them responsible. He says it right there, you were irresponsible. So looking at it, whatever, and saying, it's your fault, you were responsible, you should have done something different. I should have had, whatever. That's not going to help us have a nonviolent communication. Violence is going to be involved in our communication because my expectation is not being met by you, by whatever it is that you're doing or not doing. Cherie or Bob, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. What's really interesting is that when Cherie and I first met, I did not have this skill set, not at all. And what I'm learning as I write, which is really interesting, and it's kind of obvious that I'm writing to teach myself. But what I find fascinating is that as we learn together, then we can take what each of us has as our own personal strength in the moment and use it to support the other. And I think that is what is making the book we wrote together about relationships so much better. Originally, I wrote the book from my perspective alone, and then I asked Cherie to read it and share her thoughts. And in a very loving way, to put it a little more bluntly, she tore me a new asshole. But it turned the book into something that was completely different. So being able to talk to each other and not be pushed into attack is an absolutely amazing tool.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And you know, why is that? Why is it that is so different using this system is because the where it comes from, the original thought that we have to have in order to be able to even practice this is that we come from a place of unconditional positive regard. Unconditional positive regard, which means that whatever, it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, how you've acted or reacted, does not matter. I'm going to see you as the Christ. I mean, that's not, Marshall doesn't use those words, but that's exactly what is being said, is that when I see you as the Holy Son of God, or I see you as a human who is worthy of love, or I see you as a human who has done nothing to offend me, on no matter what you did, no matter how you've been, no matter how you've lived your life, no matter how you looked at me, any of those things, I do not take offense because I'm looking at you with unconditional, no condition at all. Unconditional love. I love you no matter what. I'm not even considering the what. I love you, and that's the reason I want to have a conversation with you. That's the reason I want to communicate with you. Because you are what you are is more important to me than any opinion I have, any thought about the past, any idea that I have. It's it is literally seeing the Christ. Although Marshall doesn't say it that way, but when you start looking at it that way, you will begin to see that that's exactly what's happening. Glorian, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that, Lynn. Yeah, no, Marshall doesn't say that, but he is talking about communicating with love. So I think we come to recognize that I can only see my brother in love if I'm coming from love myself. If I'm, all caught up with anger and fear and blame and, all of the ego stuff, there's nothing other than projection, right? It's because the ego projects. But if we're coming from a place of love, getting accustomed to asking all the time, asking his will in everything we do. What should I say? Where should I go? To whom? What's the loving thing to do here? And waiting and aligning our mind with spirit, then that's a loving place. So then we'll see love. And it's important to recognize that a happy person, a whole person doesn't hurt people. They're not blaming, they're not projecting, so again, if we're seeing that in a brother, it's our responsibility to see that call for love and meet it with love. And we can only do that if we're willing to let our own ego stuff go. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Glorian. Yeah, yeah, that's it. It is answering a call for love with love. Really, and you couldn't have said it any better. Brooklyn, yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn, Gloria, and everybody. Yeah, Gloria, you're right. Someone doesn't see love unless they feel love. I have one neighbor. I have this habit of saying, hello, sweetie, no matter before I see the face. But this one person doesn't talk to anybody, doesn't answer anybody. And People had things to say about that. And, I saw her today. I said, I saw someone come out of the elevator and I went, "Hello, sweetie." And it was her. And she just stone-faced walked right by me. And, I just prayed for her. Someone, it's sad that, she's not hard of hearing. I remember we were in the elevator and I was saying hello, she didn't answer. And then I told her, "Oh, I like your earrings." And she touched her ears. She didn't say anything though. So it's a shame, there's nothing I really can do. Like maybe she perceives a hello as an attack on her space. Who knows? So maybe next time I'll just nod. I'll just nod. That's it. Thank
And
you.
and we don't know that this is the thing, because we don't know what she's experiencing. It could be that, what you couldn't be calling me sweetie, because I'm not sweet. I don't know what you're talking about. That it could be seen as an attack. And you, of course, you wouldn't think that, but because her past experience may have been not good with that kind of communication, she may be expecting an attack, and we don't know. So
Well,
that's why the unconditional part of it has to be there. It can't, whatever another person does, they cannot change how you are. So if I'm going to lovingly say hello, sweetie, then that whatever their reaction to it, I can't let that change me to be a person who's going to be, well, I'll just be grumpy to you then too.
oh no, I
No,
wouldn't do that.
no,
I would,
no, I know you wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying, a lot of times people will say, well, you don't want to say hi to me back, or and they get upset. So
well,
you can't let it change you. You can only remain the same person that you are and be the same loving person that you are. And you're not responsible for their response. You're not responsible for that. But if you ever had a conversation with her and you were able to ask her, were you feeling vulnerable when I said that to you? Did you remember, whatever it is, get to the bottom of why that person is experiencing that, rather than assuming or imagining what it is that's going on.
well,
Because, go ahead.
in another neighbor, this first time I called her sweetie, I don't see her that often, but she came out of the elevator once. I was talking with another neighbor and I said hello and she just walked by and the other neighbor said, if she ever needs help, I'm not going to help, and, it's
Yeah,
a sad thing. She must be in a lot of pain. That's
well,
all,
but the
you
other neighbor who said that if she's ever in trouble, I won't help her,
know.
it changed that person. That person would have been a helping person, but because they were upset and offended by the way she acted and reacted, they became a different person. They were no longer the loving, caring person that they would have been otherwise. And that's the thing. You can't let that change you. I would still help that person no matter what. And
Yeah.
you too. You would not let that change you.
Let
So
him be as he is and seek not to make of love an enemy.
exactly.
There you go,
Right.
Brooklyn.
Bingo.
You know
Bingo.
where that lady touched her ear? Because when she found out you liked the earring, she wanted to make sure it was still there.
Yeah. Or trying, which earrings am I wearing today? Or whatever. Or, oh no, these are the earrings that, so and so gave me, and he hurt my feelings. So now I think about it and I'm mad at you. We don't know. We can't read another person's mind.
Yeah.
And making up ideas and stories. And I'm not saying you're making up ideas and stories. I'm saying we always make up ideas and stories. And when we don't know, we make up a story. Cherie or Bob, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I have to share this because Brooklyn brought up when she told her story just now about her neighbor. It reminded me of something that happened, oh God, maybe 30 years ago. I had just closed my business and I was working at IBM Research in Yorktown. And I was there as a temp, as a secretary of all things. And one of my jobs was to make copies. So every day I would be down to this monster copy machine that was literally copying entire doctoral theses. And I kept bumping into the same secretary, and I'd say, "Good morning, hi, how are you?" And I get nothing but a grunt, day after day after day. Well, one day I just said, "Do this." When we got there, I walked over to her. I took her hand in mine without saying anything at all and said, "We can't go on meeting this way. My wife is beginning to suspect." Well, she cracked up. And we became the best friends after that. And all it took was something stupid to break the ice. But Cherie also made a point just now to me. Maybe she didn't even understand the language you were speaking. And that's another thing that we, in our arrogance, don't think about. We don't think that other people may not understand our words. And
That
that's
might be deaf.
or might even be deaf. And so anyway, again, it goes back to taking responsibility for ourselves. But I had to share that because that was one crazy day that could have got me fired.
I love it. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad it worked out. And that, I mean, that's it. That's what we have to assume, that she's going to take a joke and she's going to laugh, because you have established a communication. And I love that. That's hilarious, actually. Because yeah, sometimes all it takes is just that one icebreaker to get that person to say, okay, this guy is not such a bad deal. You have no idea what her situation may have been too. And that's the thing. We don't know what anybody else's situation is. We can't assume. And all we can do is know that whatever they're doing it from the highest of places. They're not doing it from wanting to be mean, wanting to be bad, wanting to be rude. Nobody wants to be rude. People don't get up in the morning and say, "I'm going to be rude to people all day today. I'm just going to say, huh," when they say hello to me at the elevator. They don't do that. Not that that's what happened, but people don't do that. People want to be loved and to love. So, you can know that in your mind. And so whatever is causing that lack of communication, that's something that, if you care enough, you're interested, you may, try to pursue with the person. And you may say to them, "We have to stop meeting like this. And my wife's gonna get jealous." I mean, whatever it is that you do, you know, know that each and every human in this world is longing for that connection. That shared need of connection is, I mean, what are we doing here? The whole purpose of A Course in Miracles is to remember that we are not separate, that we are one, we are the same. And that connection is the most natural thing for us. And so anything that comes about that reminds us of our connection, that brings us back to the place where we're able to actually remember the truth, That's all that really matters. Rico, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, Lynn, real quick, I want to tell you when you said people don't get up in the morning and just think they're going to go out and be mad at the world or angry at the world. I was saying, one, you didn't grow up in New York, obviously. And two, you got to meet my older sister.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, even the toughest nut has got to crack. And yeah, I have a sister like that too. And the only sister I have left. And yes, my mother used to say she would bitch if she was being hung with a gold rope. So anyway, it's good to see you all this evening. It's wonderful to share this time with you. Thank you again, Robert and Cherie. And how much
Brooklyn
longer
has
are you
hands
going to
up.
be there?
Brooklyn's got her hand up.
Oh, Brooklyn. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say, like, in the 12 steps, we got to keep our own side of the street clean.
Yeah. I love that. Thank
What
you.
is it? What's the saying?
We keep our own side of the street clean.
Oh, right. Because I thought I
Mhm.
take care of your side of the street. Yeah.
Exactly.
That lady in the elevator or getting off the elevator is a great trigger for you. Opened up a lot of stuff for you to look at. She did you a big favor.
That's right.
Well, this isn't the first time I saw her, so it really didn't, it didn't really affect me that much. And before I met her, I had this other neighbor who says, "There's this person who just moved in. I don't know what to do." I try to talk to her, she won't talk to me. And this one I told her, we got to keep our own side of the street clean. And then I meet her. Hello.
Maybe she can't hear.
No, no, that's why I said I like your earrings.
Well,
And she
maybe she
went
can
like,
hear in the elevator, but she can't hear in the hallway. Maybe she's got
oh,
something. We
We,
don't know.
the
That's
thing is, like, we really don't know anything. We don't know anything. I mean
exactly.
anything.
That's right.
I have to tell you all, I saw the best, and I'm sure somebody in here must have seen it. Nick Arandis and Keith Kavanaugh together.
yeah, that's so cute.
Oh
Love.
my God, was that amazing? I mean, when I tell you, it was like I just was in this gorgeous light. It was just beautiful. So
That's a very good. I can
it
send
was
that
just
out.
this, yeah. And my mind just stopped. It was just, yeah. Nick has an art to his teaching that is incredible.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Let's see. Rafi has his hand up. Enrico, did you still want to have your hand up?
Yeah, I want to say one quick thing
Oh,
to you and Rafi, but let Rafi go first because he's my twin brother.
Okay, I put it in the post, but I repeating. Dad always used to say, treat everybody with kindness because you don't know what they're going through. So
Mhm.
I just wanted to really thank you.
Oh.
Since you guys are my spiritual mentors and teachers, I need to be emotionally and spiritually naked. And that is to tell you, one of my goals is to, when somebody responds to me like that I don't even notice it because the love is in the way. That's where I want to be. So you
That's
guys keep helping me.
Beautiful.
yeah,
it.
that's it. You don't even notice it because you don't expect it because you're
Yeah.
guiltless. A guiltless person doesn't feel attacked no matter what somebody says to them or does to them.
That's
If
right.
you're feeling guiltless, then someone could say to you, you're Lynn, you're a traffic cone. And I was like, oh, that's not what I am.
You know what I think happens after all these years? You just finally say you really don't know anything. I mean, anything. And the thing is, like, if somebody's upset, right away the ego in this mind would go, "Can I help you with anything?" You know what I mean? The people pleasing ego that just wants everybody to feel good, rather than what Rico said, which to me is you didn't notice it because all you did was see this loving being.
That's right.
You're not looking at form.
And like James Twyman wrote in his book, we don't want to be the other person. We don't want to be another shadow for the person.
Right. That's a beautiful thing. Which book was that? Oh, the one you read on Thursday.
The Annihilated Self.
I
Yes.
have it too. I just haven't been able to go to the group.
Well, we got two groups reading it. Lynn Castaldo just finished it. So she read the whole thing, and then Thursday evenings. Yeah, so I love it. All right. Anybody else? Rico, did you want to say something else?
No, he
Oh,
just didn't put his hand down.
Besides, I love you. That's enough for me.
all right.
Thanks
I
for all
love
your
you guys.
reading, Cherie, and appreciate it. Thank you. Good night.
Yeah. Oh, Cherie and Bob, your work
Oh,
is incredible.
that was
I was
beautiful. Thank you,
Just
Kathy.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Love you both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're both so precious.
you are precious, and I
Bye,
love
Ralphie.
And I'll see you tomorrow night.
Bye,
All's
everyone.
well.
Good night.
you. All
Okay.
right.
Big
And
hug.
Have a
much
good
longer
night.
are
Good
you
night.
guys at the City of Hope? How are you going to be down there?
We're going home tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be back on the big computer.
Oh,
Yay.
okay, guys. I love you.
Love
Thank you for your
us.
love and service, Lynn. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, man. I appreciate all of you, and I'm so grateful that everyone here is so open and willing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye.